Hello, and welcome once again to another edition of Quoth the Raven, Lewis Bright Raven. I'm your host, Lewis Bright Raven, 35 years of comics, science fiction, fantasy, or role-playing games. I am joined by the mascot himself, who is sitting in my lap just out of camera range, of course. That is the Midnight Monster. He doesn't want to be seen, but he wants to be in my lap. And, of course, joining me at this time as well is one of my co-hosts, comic book nerd Chris Hall.
Hello, everybody. How you doing tonight?
Well, we've had some terrible news in the comic book world recently. This has been ongoing for months now, but unfortunately, the official announcement has been made, and that is that the Angoulême International Comics Festival in Angoulême, France, has been officially canceled for 2026. Normally, it's been running since 1974, had not missed a year, and because of political and, frankly, one or two people's personal egos, unwilling to step aside, as has been asked by literally everyone else. The city mayor, the local government has basically pulled all of their funding out, and so have the creators and the publishers have boycotted the show and are not going to do it so long as the person who is in charge remains in charge. And he remains adamant to stay in, not just for this, for next, I want it next year. He's trying to get it so he still has control until 2036, which is never going to happen.
Right. Especially
We'll get into the whys and wherefores in just a moment. Were you aware of this situation ongoing throughout the year, Chris? Because this has been going on for about 6-8 months. They've been arguing about this.
I was not. But you had brought it to my attention, so I did do some reading up on it, and it's a horrible, horrible situation. It's just not. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this started really 3 years ago. A female volunteer or employee was allegedly raped at the show, and she reported it, and the parties who ran the show did nothing about it. They didn't pursue any legal action. They didn't even penalize the person who was being accused of things, remove them from activities and operations. And that ultimately came to a head this past year, and that led to a lot of creators saying, hey, no, this is not acceptable anymore. This person is potentially a risk and endangerment to others, and we don't want that person there, and we don't want, if you're not going to remove him, then we don't want you running the show.
Mm-hmm.
And that was part of it. And then there was some other financial circumstances, again, involving the individual, Frank Bandu, who is kind of like pretending to be the festival organizer, more or less. He says he was supposed to retire from that, and he's been doing it under the guise of a company called 9E Art Plus. And so, it comes a weird situation there.
Right.
So let's go ahead and read some of this. I'm going to share from Heidi McDonald's The Beat in just a minute. if this thing will share its screen that it's supposed to share. There we go. You know, again, it's canceled. Bandu defiant. He claims he's not responsible. In a letter laid out by his lawyers, he blames the French festival's cancellation entirely on public funders and demands to remain the festival organization for the 2027 event and possibly beyond. Like I said, he's been trying to get it through 2036. And when you rig the bid in your favor, and that's been proven, you're disqualified. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, it's really causing a problem. The city's mayor, Xavier Bonifant, the Department of Charente, which is Angouléme's administrative capital, the president, in fact, even the regional council president have all said no, basically. Instead of a comprehensive response of where the money that they were going to give for the funding for the show, he instead of threatened a lawsuit. Very dumb. Hold on a second. All right, I gotta close that. No, I don't want to close that. Never mind. Anyway, he's claiming it's no way a result of a choice made by him or his company. It's just a unilateral decision taken without consultation by the public funders, and that's not true at all because he has no intention of stepping down as the festival general delegate, a position he created himself back in 2004. So he's had it for 20 years. He's made millions of dollars. This is about him and him making his money and his nut, his legacy, and nothing more. And he doesn't care who he hurts as long as he gets hits. His present contract runs through 2027, and he's claiming that this year and next year belongs to his group. But when basically the entire world has said, no, we don't want you, get out. What do you do, Chris? I mean, do you hold the world's second or third largest comics festival hostage and hurt a town, or do you step aside and show some class and go?
Yeah, he's trying to, I hate to say it, but he's kind of pulling a Trump. He's like trying to save face by pretending to be strong and, stand, and he's just making himself look like a jackass. And it ultimately comes down to, people need to feel safe at these festivals.
Mm-hmm.
And
yes,
people need to be held accountable for, when things like this happen. It's just horrible, horrible situation.
Yeah, well, it's not. I don't think it's just that, though. I mean, when you have, like I said, every major publisher in France says we will no longer come to your show as long as this guy's in charge.
Right.
Take the hint. What is it benefiting you or anyone else to sit there and fight for this when, okay, keep it, we just won't be there.
Yeah, I mean, he's not making money if there's no festival, so what the hell is he doing?
Yeah, exactly. I would have sat there and said, look, I understand. Maybe there wasn't a way to step down. There was, because we've been arguing over this for months. They had a bidding war, supposedly, to see who could take over. And the person who supposedly did the open bidding said that he won the rights again, and there was nobody believed it. And of course, she was the person who said, "Well, we'll do it again," you know, and they don't trust that person now. So it's like it's a really bad. There's just no faith, and this isn't just affecting the comic book publishers in France or in Europe. This affects American publishing because now our people can't go over there and market our books for translation into French or to Italian or other things, because that's where a lot of these conversations actually take place with during these festivals. Yes, we don't do it as we do a lot more communication online through Zoom meetings and stuff, that more so than we used to do. But a lot of this stuff usually gets talked about during these festivals as to what really do you want to get licensed for? What do you know? And same thing, what books by foreign publishers do we want to buy rights for English rights here in America?
Right.
So that's going to possibly adversely affect the tie-up for that.
Right. And does like, I'm not really familiar. Does the American comic book market or comic book industry have a strong footing in the French market or in the European market?
Well, Marvel and DC, you know, I mean, all the major characters are being translated in those languages, but you know, they don't just say, okay, everything's Spider-Man necessarily. You know, they may be doing negotiations for the second and third tier level of Spider titles.
Right.
Or they might be doing it for Carnage or Venom or whatever, that are not actual Spider-Man. They may have to negotiate those separately. I don't know for sure. Same thing with the X-Men. You might get an X-Men book, but you might not get Cable in the same packaging. So it just depends on what they're negotiating for licenses are. And that changes from country to country, publisher to publisher. So there's a lot of that going on. Like I said, it's not as active. It used to be you'd go on a two-week business trip.
Mm-hmm.
And the show was still like maybe a week long, but you had another week that wasn't where you were going to be at the festival, where you actually had business meetings in the hotels. So that's, maybe we don't do that as much because we're doing more stuff online internationally, but it's still always better to finalize your agreements in person,
right,
and stuff like that. And that might not be I don't know what kind of option there might be, but they may have to wait till Luca Games and Comics Festival now to get that done. So that's a problem.
The American comic book market does not need another kick in the pants, that's for sure.
No. On top of this adversely affects the city of Angoulême itself, because that festival brings in almost 200,000 visitors every year.
Right.
So the touring money, that tourism is not going to be there next year. On top of this, the tariffs that Jackass has put on everything has killed their major export, which is cognac and wine. So they're already financially hurting. Here's an asshole who's made millions of dollars, tens of millions off this festival over the last 20 years. And you could be the savior of the town by doing the right thing and making sure this festival goes off. Do what is needed to necessarily be done, even if it means you're not making your nut, to keep that town alive and keep financial structure in place for future. Because, hey, maybe you can negotiate and become, still be involved in the future if you show some respect.
Or even behind the scenes.
Yeah, or even behind the scenes, right? And just let someone else be the de facto face of the show or whatever. But no, he doesn't do this. So he's adversely affecting, 40,000 to 50,000 people in the city and surrounding areas. On top of this, there's a huge re-election campaign for the city mayor, for all that stuff coming up in March of next year. So this is going to be a major political hot point for the whole town.
Yep.
And the whole city, not just the city of Angoulême, but for that whole region of France, because this idiot is being self-serving. And I think we all know how frustrated we've all been with Jeppy
Right.
and what's going on with what he did with Diamond and stuff. But this to me seems 10 times worse, because this is affecting people, that have nothing to do with our business per se.
But the tourism helps them out. So yeah, it's
Right.
a major part of their economy. So
Yeah. And how do you justify your own self-interests over that many different people? I can see it if you're doing it, maybe it's just me, because I'm not the person making all the money. Maybe if I had all the money and I was making it all, I wouldn't want to give it up either. I don't know.
but he's not making the money because the festival isn't happening because of him. He's simply trying to look strong and trying to save face
Right.
by not backing down. It's not, this isn't my fault, and he's making himself look like a jackass.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, I'm saying he's made all the money for all the years he has been in charge, though.
Right.
20 years. And, you make that kind of money, millions every year, that you're getting out of that in your pocket, I guess, but I mean, to me, if I had that much money already, what the fuck, I'm set for life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's the way I look at it. But then again, most people who have it seem to always want more.
Exactly. It's never enough. Yeah, and he's kind of acting like, like a Roman emperor, with his thumb like this going, nope, kill the town.
Yeah. And it's like, no, we can't. How does this? I kind of wish we could have had David on to see what he thinks, because I think this affects him as an agent as well, because this is going to affect all of his European artists, and they're going to be wanting to.
It does. David is on a cruise. With his in-laws. Wanted to give him that experience for Christmas. So this is a huge Christmas present for his in-laws. So yeah, he is on a 4-day cruise.
Okay. Well, that's okay. He needed a break anyway, didn't he?
He did, absolutely. So
yeah, I mean, his life has been kind of topsy-turvy too. So yeah, but this is the kind of thing, though, I don't understand, because this could affect. It's not going to affect Comic-K up in Japan, because they're really a separate market,
right?
But it may affect the Lucca Games and Comics Festival later in Italy.
Absolutely.
And even though it's a different country and it's a different environment, when you have similar structures like this, because both of those festivals rely very heavily on their local city and their local government money investment into those festivals so that they can run them, because they love what they do. Hello, and see, he's here. He says, okay, I'm yeah. Anyway, and a lot of people don't really understand that here in America, because most of San Diego has some political, and New York City Con has them, but most of the major cons don't. That's why every year's a mess, because they don't have 4, 5, 6, 8 year type structures where you know
Right.
exactly where the money's going and everything. And you'll see a lot of shows fall by the wayside trying to be what San Diego is. Well, you don't, it's not that you need what San Diego is, because San Diego isn't just comics, it's Hollywood.
Right.
Whereas if you go to Angoulême, it's comics. Okay? It's not, I mean, don't get me wrong, there's video games, there's a little bit of things going on otherwise, but it's like 85% comics. Luca is more broad scope, I think, because it features a lot more gaming. So there's a lot more video games, a lot more tabletop role-playing game content, a lot of stuff like that over there. And so it might not be at much of a risk as Angoulême.
Right.
But this worries me, because I'm almost afraid that they're going to lose the show forever because of this guy. And I know that he holds it through 2027 officially. So if you lose 2 years and say, well, your contract ran out, I don't know if they can do that legally per se. I mean, it should be able to, but I don't know. I don't know the dynamics. You know, I don't.
So he's going to try and stay past his term and hold power till 2030, whatever, right?
Well, yeah, no. Well, that's what he said they negotiated it through 2036 with what he was supposed to get, and when he was renewing it, and nobody accepted that. It's absolutely not. So, but yeah, his actual official term that they have signed on officially and cleared was through 2027.
And I think another reason, it's not just the town that it's affecting. Europe in general has a stronger comic market than America does. People, I mean, it's a much bigger deal over in Europe still than in America. Comics have kind of waned off here, but they're going strong as ever there. So it not only affects that town, but it affects the entire European market. So
hold on a second, I gotta get him out of my So, you know, it's a weird situation. And you know, someone just asked, not in our chat, but asked me before the show, does this have anything to do with Humanoids, less, you know, the bankruptcy deal with that publisher?
right.
Not necessarily, but it's not helping, because that's probably $250,000 sales loss for them not having that festival. $250,000 to $300,000 in sales of backstock for the show. And you know, given that they are several tens of millions of dollars in debt, that's really not going to weigh as save or not save the company. Right. It's just a matter of getting assets liquidated and sold to get cash revenue to pay their debtors.
Yes.
And
did anything come out if that's going to affect Metal Hurlant? Or how they're going to carry, if that's going to carry on, or?
Well, Metal Hurlant should be carried through at least for as long as the subscriptions for that were crowdfunded. Is my understanding of things at this time. Having crowdfunded the campaign, I've asked about that, and that's basically what I got back was you're going to get your campaign.
Okay.
Which you committed to. Or now, if that doesn't happen, I imagine they will try to figure out a way to refund. But I haven't seen anybody. I've talked to people that are associated with the book. As doing projects for the book. They all seem to be getting their regular schedules. They all seem to be getting paid. So I'm pretty sure that as long as they're going to have the money for the crowdfunding, and then whatever they have for overprint run, they'll still distribute through bookstores and comic stores. But I don't remember how long that campaign was for. It might only be 6 issues, like a year.
Right.
But it's hard to say. But that's a good question. Thank you for asking. So we got that, and people are asking me now, who boycotted? The boycott, several former Grand Prix award winners. That's like the Eisner Awards for France for that show. I think they had like 22 of them. Because usually what happens is they all come to the show for the event and have a big soiree to celebrate past and present, to let let new people come into the group and, hey, thank you for congratulations and stuff. They all boycotted. Casterman, Dupuis, Lombard, Delcourt, publisher was gone. Yeah, there's like 4 or 5 major publishers that said they weren't going to do it. They just walked out. So so basically they had an association situation where they pressure in June, from January and June of this year, told the owner association to discontinue the contract with the guy who's in charge right now, and engage in a transparent process for alternative proposals. And while that process took place, it was not transparent. And when the outcome was announced on November 8th to reappoint them, everybody said, and I can't really. And of course, Bondu then sent the letter on September 25th back then, sue everybody if he's not reappointed. That's partly why they did reappoint him, because they didn't want to get sued. Well, too bad, because now everybody's going to get sued and it's going to be ugly, and who knows what's going to happen.
Right. It seems like it's going to take like the ghost of like 3 prominent comic book creators rattling around in chains, telling this guy that he's going to be visited by the ghost of comics present, past, and future.
Actually, I think
to get him to.
No, I think what's going to happen, if this doesn't get solved, by March or April of this year, to set up for next year, for 2027, I think Parliament's going to have to step in and say, no, you're done.
Really? Okay.
I really think the French Parliament's going to have to step in, because this is going to be affecting the company of the whole country. And if it's that, because this is affecting publishing, this is affecting their print, this is affecting their tourism, this is affecting all these different aspects of economic infrastructure in the country. So I think that it might be important enough for them to step in, but I don't know. But anyway, hold on a minute. There will actually be a festival going on that weekend. It just will not be Angoulême, and I want people to know about it. It's called Future Off, and it's a sizable fanzine event that is unofficially part of the festival, but not actually connected to it. And they are going to do their show independently because they're not officially part of the show. They're something separate with an organization. And so they have a very anti-commercial stance. It's fanzines, it's micro publishing. If you don't know where it's there, you would not find it if you went to the actual festival. That's how much they've been buried. But since there's not going to be one, they're going to have the show have a reduced schedule, Friday to Sunday, half day Saturday. And there's going to be free tables for any exhibitors, and they are looking for volunteers. So this is going to be, at least a cultural program. And yes, it's going to be supportive of the girl cot movement, shall we say. They call it a girl cot instead of boycott, being silly, but whatever. But if you are, we do a lot of fanzines, we do a lot of underground comics on this show. And so this is, if you like that kind of stuff and you were planning on going out there anyway, and you can't get your tickets canceled or, whatever, can't get refunds or whatever, maybe it'll be worth going out there just for that.
And I mean, I suppose there's always a possibility that with the main festival not happening, this little festival could blow up. And be huge because people are still looking for something to go to.
Yeah, it could. But with the announcement of it, I think most people who've already backed out, as far as the major players, a lot of the people that would normally go just as tourists to go to the event, they're going to meet the big names. And if they're not going to be there, they probably won't go. They'll probably change their mind. But I'm letting people know that that's there because we need to kind of stop looking at commercializing. Yes, this is a business. You're doing a commercial product, but the art form itself expands beyond that narrow bandwidth of what is considered commercially viable,
right,
or commercially popular. Let's put it that way. That'd be a more accurate statement. And we don't spend nearly enough time at conventions or festivals acknowledging that product and subsequently strengthening the overall market.
Yeah, there's almost a bit of gatekeeping going on there, separating the mainstream industry from the independent, the micro publishers, all that stuff.
Well, it's whether it's indie, whether it's crowdfunding, whether it's print on demand, micro publishing, fanzines, whatever. They are considered separate, and there's an added. I mean, I don't know what it's like over in Europe because I've been over there, but here in America, it's a very, unless you happen to have a retailer who was like one of the hippies of the 60s or something, 60s and 70s, that was really into that scene back then, and that was part of what they took in as the culture of comics before the 80s direct market boom, shall we say,
right,
in the mid 80s. A lot of them have an attitude where they don't want to even acknowledge that this other stuff exists.
Yeah, and it depends on what it is. I mean, like I'm pretty sure like Larry Welts, a lot of people have a soft spot for him and what he does. And he's doing okay. just as the example.
Well, yes and no. I mean,
because he's definitely like an old hippie, and like he was part of the.
Yeah. But what I'm talking about is though, you would not find the stuff that I would do or was doing in the 90s. When I did San Diego, I never had a table. I was always just like a roamer.
Mm-hmm.
And, but I still sold books. It was just the people didn't know it's like, yeah, I got so many books in my bag behind me, on my shoulder, and if you want more, I got more at the hotel room, let me go get more, type thing. And I would sell copies, yes. It would be like after hours. I would sell like.
So you were the guy that's like, hey, psst, come here. I got some comics for you, man. What you want? I got what you need, man.
Well, when it came to, in a way, yes, because it was just marketing underground stuff, the stuff that my co-op was doing. And that was because a lot of the time, because the other distributor, mainly Diamond, didn't want our stuff distributed, being seen, didn't want the retailers to know it even existed. And I would go to, all the different store owners, that had tables, and I'd give them pamphlets and give them, a mini catalog and stuff. Well, I don't really need any of this stuff because, anything I need, Diamond already has. It was kind of like the attitude, And it's like, okay, that's how you want to play it. That's how you want to play it.
So you really went to alternate. Yeah, you went to alternate markets.
Yeah, that's what you have to do. And, but it was very frustrating. And I've often wondered, if I'd lived in Europe, how much different my perceptions would be, because not only is the commercialization of comics different in Europe, it's not really superhero focused. I mean, there's a superhero market, don't get me wrong, but they have so many other markets that are much larger in what they play in. So,
yeah, sci-fi is huge. Romance. Those markets are huge in Europe.
Yeah. So anyway, and this, how big of a festival is this? It's France's third largest cultural event after the Cannes Film Festival and Avignon Arts Festival. That's pretty damn big.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And they're just letting us, yeah, it's crazy. But so anyway, we hope
this is kind of off topic
as well.
This is kind of off topic, but speaking of independent comics, I was just talking with Joseph Michael Linsner. He had posted of Dawn fame. He had posted, his original Cry for Dawn, and was talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him, what was your original print run? Like, he had, this was back in the 90s, and he had,
this is 91, 92 is around 10,000. He had the print run.
Well, he had a pre-order of 6,000, which is insane for independent comics. And then did a print run of, ended up ultimately doing 20,000 print run, which is just mind blowing.
That's actually normal for that era. That wasn't like a really high number back then.
But compared to what it is now, I mean, it's
but you have to remember, back then we had 18 different distributors that he was marketed through.
Right.
And you had, literally 5 times as many store outlets potentially ordering it. And the cultural boom in 91 and 92, we had just come out of the black and white boom and bust of the late 80s. And so we were starting to go into a downturn. And because of what Marvel chose to do with making the Image guys popular and giving them their number one issues and marketing them a certain way to turn that perception around and create that faux market, I guess you could call it, because it wasn't a true sustainable market. It was more of a, but that culturally created a boom for everybody in a way, because as those guys were going on and being on MTV and being on other cultural stuff,
right?
People would come into the stores and say, well, what else is there? That's cool. And if a retailer was doing their job correctly at the time, they were marketing Caliber's books. They were marketing Kitchen Sink. They were marketing, Tundra and whatever, Dark Horse or these other companies, Ben Dunn. All this stuff was marketed to different people for different audience bases. And that lasted okay for about 2 or 3 years. And then, the market, that faux market, fell out. And Image, in their stupidity, and I've talked about this before, when Marvel decided to go down the rabbit hole and buy Heroes World, and then Image left Malibu. And I'm not saying it was wrong for them to leave Malibu, because I think they knew that Marvel might be trying to buy them out. And that would mean they'd be under Marvel's thumb again. They didn't want that. I understand some of the reasoning why they left Malibu. But when they did that, they chose to try to be in the moment, for lack of a better word, and try to pursue that sales market percentage so that they were the number 2 company and surpassed DC.
Right.
And by doing that, they went exclusive to Diamond. And that forced everybody to go to Diamond as a result. And left, 2/3 of the market with no distribution. And had they not done that, if they had just stayed the course and done normal business with the other distribution, and we still had the capital cities and Friendly Franks and the other 20, 30 distributors that were around regionally at the time, if that's been sustainable through this year or this period of time, we would not have had half the problems we had with COVID. We would not be seeing nearly as much redundant property books, because there would be so much content to choose from that not that there isn't, but if you're banking on using multiple distributors, then you're banking on what each distributor has that the other ones don't.
Right.
And that's something that today's retailers just haven't quite. They're relearning it. We're having to do with Lunar and Penguin Random House and Simon and Schuster and some of these other ones. But we've talked about this with Philbo, Phil Lesser's new company, and with Power Pulp. We've seen the stores, the major retailers like Phil Boyle and Cliff Biggers and Brian Hibbs absolutely shoot down these companies, saying that they don't understand how to do this and we can't make money off of them and stuff. And I just, first off, I want to Batman bitch slap those guys, because they're full of shit. But they're so used to, after 20, 30 years of having done what they've done with the Diamond Monopoly,
right?
They don't really remember, or they never did things like it was done when we had all the distributors. In order to get that discount percentage that they're talking about, they need to be able to identify, order, and market and sell categorically, equitably to your big name chain publishers.
Right.
And you have been taught for the last 35, 40 years not to do that. You've been taught to market the brand, whether it's Batman, X-Men, Spider-Man, Star Trek, Star Wars, whatever, so that we can get you to buy multiple products featuring the same IP brand. We've done it and played that same card into the writers and into the artists as well. You have to reteach them what actual retailing looks like. It's like when you go into a record store, yes, you have top certain artists that are internationally well known, but categorically, there's separation between rock and rap and country and gospel and jazz and contemporary soul and all these different fields. And while the new rack might show all of those things at once as a cultural cornucopia, so to speak, usually when you go into a store, there's separate areas where you can go focus on what you like. That's not happening in comics anymore. When you go into a comic shop, it's either Marvel and DC and then everybody else, or it's everybody just slammed together alphabetically by title, not even by publisher, but by title.
Right.
And that doesn't work because there are certain products that are for certain age groups. There's certain projects that are for certain cultural differences. There are books that are I don't want to say strictly for the Black culture, but are geared more towards the Black culture. They need to be properly identified and presented so that your customer base knows where it's at.
Right, like the Rippaverse, for example.
Well, I guess I don't really familiarize myself with that one per se, but yeah, I mean, but just when we have our guest next week, we'll talk more about that because we'll be having a guest who happens to be a Black woman on our show next week. So we'll be talking about that kind of cultural separation and how to identify and being included without being segregated.
Right.
And I know what I'm saying sounds like segregation when I say there's different cultural things, but I'm talking just about there's educational type comics. There's comics that are for kids to a certain age. It's kind of like when I complain about how all those cartoon books that Dynamite does are now adulterized.
Right.
I'm not saying that you can't have a version of those characters for the older people who grew up on it 30, 40 years ago, 50 years ago, but you need to have a version that's for the original intended audience age base.
Right. Yep.
That's stuff. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying exactly. Yeah, Lily, you're saying everybody represented equally, but in their own section.
Yes. And then the retailer, if they were doing things right, if someone got bored with something, well, hey, you were bored with that. Let me show you something else over here that you haven't seen. Because even if it's not necessarily culturally your thing, maybe you'll find something interesting that you didn't know was there. Oh, that's cool, actually.
Yeah.
I'll check that out, type thing. But if you don't do it, if it's always, yeah, I know this stuff isn't like it used to be. Thank you for the money. Come back next week. Sooner or later, those customers are coming back.
Right.
So anyway, I think we've talked enough about on Angoulême. I hope that they find some sort of resolution between now and April, because March is when they're going to have the elections for the town mayor and stuff. And I hope that this doesn't reflect poorly on the mayor, because it's not the mayor's fault. It is Bordeaux's fault, definitely. And I just don't know. Like I said, I hope it doesn't take French Parliament to get involved, but I wouldn't be surprised if it ultimately did.
Well, it's French Parliament or the ghosts.
Well, mostly, yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Franc Bonde,
yeah,
you
yeah.
are an evil man, and you will be visited by 3 ghosts.
Yeah, but who are the ghosts? They're gonna Mobius shows up.
Yeah, the ghost of Mobius. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're gonna really trip your ass out now. Woo! Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. 'Cause, I mean, it wouldn't be like you get Will Eisner necessarily, but Jack Kirby. But I forgive my ignorance to name extremely famous French or Spanish European superstars right now. Um, while I have some familiarity with the European market, it's far from my expertise. We need someone like Augie de Bliek to from Pipeline to come on the show and talk about those guys. And hopefully we will someday, because I'd love to have him on the show. But anyway, let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. And that is I went to do some Christmas shopping, so to speak. And I was just looking for something different. And I hadn't been to lulu.com, which is a print-on-demand site lately. And I had, you guys know I go all over the place to look for web comics and online comics and print-on-demand stuff. So let's go take a quick look.
You spend your nickels all over the industry.
This is what I bought. Pace Setter number 12 by George Perez for $8. TMNT number 1. This is the British newspaper full color comic strips that have never been published in the United States. Collected hardcover.
That's pretty cool.
So I'm getting that for a friend of mine for Christmas. Detour 11, It Fell from the Sky. This is an anthology of various artists for $4.75. Hey, $4.75, what the heck, right? We got Pace Setter issue number 5, Pace Setter issue number 3, Pace Setter issue number 2, 14, 9. Basically a lot of Pace Setters. This was the George Perez fanzine, basically. Interviews with George, artwork that wasn't generally seen in the public eye. A lot of columns by fans of George telling what made them a fan of George's work. Stuff that George did outside of comics for theatrical illustrations and posters and stuff like that. Costume design, all kinds of stuff that he used to do. We have Bronze Age Heroes, which was a collection of the so to speak, esoteric heroes of the 70s. We got Trash Man Begins. This is kind of like an underground Punisher type comic, I guess.
Right.
And then we have Gen Ken Pong, which is a Japanese anthology. It's English, but it's Japanese anime, manga type stuff. So as you can see, that's $161. All the sale taxes and shipping and handling stuff. Now,
that's a lot of culture.
Yes, it is. Now, that was just what I bought one night this past week. Let's see what else they have to offer. Okay. El Sketchbook by Lorenzo, Deluxe Collection, Part 3 from 24 to 2018 by Lorenzo Etherington. Can you see that, Chris?
Yeah, I can see it.
Let's see what that looks like. I'm trying to get it so that you guys can actually see if it'll. Nope. They don't really show a lot of the books on this, but I want to try and get the graphic All right. I'm gonna unshare this one. I'm gonna share the graphic page. Okay.
Okay.
Um,
I'm
real
still
quick.
thinking about the British TMNT. Hey, Donny, after we kick this Splinter's ass, let's go down to the pub and have some fish and chips and a Guinness.
Nope. Wrong. Okay. Wrong thing. Hold on a second. Oh dear. There we go. There you can see it a little bit better. I'm going to try and make it large. It won't enlarge anymore from that, unfortunately.
That's still pretty cool, though. I like that.
Yeah. Let me go back here. Close that. Close that. But I mean, there's just different things. I want to kind of. I'll be right back. Whoops, sorry. Let me reverse and let Chris take front stage for a few moments. I'll be right back.
Okay. So, hello, everybody out there in Comic Book Land. If you have anything to say, let me know in the comments. If you're just joining us, this is Quoth the Raven, Lewis Bright Raven, crowdfunding talk, December 2nd, 2025. And if you haven't checked it out yet, I highly recommend going to Kickstarter and checking out Bonsai Girl Reborn. I was part of that campaign. I did the video for that. Good friends with David Campieri. And so I highly recommend you check that out. And on fundmycomic.com, he also has his classic spinner rack available to fund, which is your classic spinner rack that you would go into the drugstores or your local like 7-Eleven and find. And it's designed to be able to take down easy and put back up easy within 10 minutes. And it comes with a great travel case. This is designed to be able to take to shows and put up and take down very quickly. It's got extra large slots for pockets to hold extra large comic books, and it's just a really, really great product. So that is on fundmycomic.com. And so if you're interested in something like that, it's going to retail at like $3.99 plus shipping. So definitely go check that out. And Lewis will be back shortly here. He just had to get up and take a little break real quick.
Okay.
Hello.
Sorry about that, folks.
That's all right.
That's one thing about live. When the body has to do things, he has to go do things. But anyway, yes, you were talking. I could hear a little bit of what you were talking about. We will go back and revisit some of that stuff before we end the night. But anyway, again, this is the cover to the deluxe collection of the sketchbook.
I'm a big fan of that. Just that graphic style. I really, really, really like that.
Yeah. And let's go back here. There's a lot of anime type style stuff and silly things like it's toaster brains. Yeah. But yeah, there's again another deluxe edition. I don't want to try and share it because it's gonna freeze up again like that did. Then you get the Atlas Comics archives, reprinting some of that old Atlas comics with Manstalker, the Scorpion, the Demon Hunter, the Grim Ghost.
Very, very cool.
I'm going to go ahead and see what happens if I do this to 50. It's the 10. The classic Peacemaker and Pals. I don't know how they do this because Peacemaker is technically under the rights of DC, but this was originally published in 2014 and it is print on demand. So if some of this went into public domain, I guess, or at least for a little while. There's Devilina, Tales of the Sorceress, web comics like The Complete Ozzy and Millie, Volume 1 and 2. If you're a Weezer fan, here's a comic book for you. Do you remember some Snuffy Smith?
I do. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, these are collections of the Sunday comics. We have LaShawn Thomas's art book, Nervous Breakdown. Something you like, Daring Dame, Pussycat Tales. Bronze Age Hotties, another thing that you would like. There's just a lot of interesting things. Oh, the Humanity from Bill Holbrook. I don't know if you guys remember that comic strip.
I'm familiar with Bill Holbrook. I'm just not familiar with this.
Yeah, that's it's an interesting piece. Again, reprinting the Shazam family. Mini Comics is a lot of that. You'll see a lot of these listed more than once for some reason.
Oh, Mark Knopfler has his own book.
This is a biographical comic on Mark Knopfler's life. If you guys don't know who Mark Knopfler is, he's one of the best guitarists in the world, and he was one of the key people behind the band Dire Straits.
Mm-hmm.
But who's Dire Straits? Money for nothing and your chicks for free.
Or money for nothing and your comics for free. That's
yeah. But anyway, yeah, it's an interesting thing there. Again, another Deadly Danes, bring on the bad girls instead of bring on the bad guys.
Which looks very reminiscent of early Wonder Woman stuff.
Yeah. This is the Butterfly, the first black superheroine.
Huh.
So there's just, there's lots of crazy. Let me see if this will. Come on. There we go. This premiered in Hellrider magazine in '71. The very first African American comic book superheroine. And it has written by Gary Friedrich, art by John Cilardo, Mike Esposito, Rick Buckler, and Bill Everett. Included in this book is also tales of other Foxy Mamas, like Salimbo the Jungle Guys by Stephen Perry, Lady Satan by Al Hewitson and Ricardo Villamonte, plus Go-Go Girl and Disappointed Doll by Jack Kirby. So you got Jack Kirby on this too. It's the 80 pages graphic novel. Black and white interiors. They don't do the full color thing because a lot of times they can't afford it.
The width and breadth of Jack Kirby's creations and creative input to this industry is just, it's mind-blowing. It really is. I saw a clip of earlier today on Facebook of someone, a reporter asking him, so how many characters have you created, Jack? He's like, well, it would probably be like a battalion.
Yeah. Yep. And here's the TMNT one from Newspaper Archive. Let's look at that real quick. For the first time ever, this is the newspaper daily stories. If you thought you've read every single Turtles adventure out there, think again. Throughout 90 and 91, over 300 daily strips were produced in a comic strip called Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles that ran exclusively in the UK market. All your familiar foes like Shredder, Krang, Baxter Stockman, and more appear in addition to other new foes and friends alike. Contains all four story arcs in full color. So you get it.
I bet John would love this.
It's not for John. but John could probably get it if he wanted it. It's for someone else though. Yeah, I got that for another friend of ours who's a huge Turtles nut.
I know who you're talking about.
Yep. So, stuff about Mary Worth from Kevin Moore and Joe Chiella. Hoofbeats. You've heard of Hoofbeats by Bill Holbrook.
No, I have not.
See, you think you know Bill Holbrook and you're like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of stuff I didn't know. How about Rules of Engagement?
No, I've never, no.
Yep. Like I say, there's a lot of stuff in here. Oh, there's what you want. You want your spicy mystery stories.
Spicy mystery stories.
Yes. But anyway, there's just a lot of really cool stuff. Let's see how long it takes to there.
And these are all print on demand, hey?
Yep. About Coders by Geek and Poke.
That's funny.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of wonder what that's about, but
I assume it's humorous little anecdotes about, coding and the industry and stuff like that.
So. Yeah, the internet and stuff like that, yeah. Paper Trained by Bill Holbrook.
Another one I've never heard of.
Okay, hold on. Let's look at this. This is Kevin and Kel. It's a 2015 collection of the series Kevin and Kel.
Yeah.
It celebrated its 20th anniversary as a daily webcomic, and then it's how he basically graduated.
Okay.
He goes to a masquerade prom and a few other things like that. And he starts going to Page University. So, I mean, that's what a lot of these are. You just named it. They're actually Kevin and Kel webcomic stuff. So, let's see what else we got.
A lot of Bill Holbrook stuff.
Yeah, this is all the Kevin and Kel rather, webcomics collected in the little books, like 88 to 100 page books. If you're into the Erie publications, there's indexes about all the different comics that they did in the 50s and 60s. Let's see. There you go. No more spicy movie stories for you. Spicy Western stories. Ooh, hey, look at that. Yeah. Well, here we go. You want rude humor, right?
Absolutely.
Let's see what rude humor looks like. Parodies, spoofs, and satires from the golden age of comics. Hilarious takes on movies, celebrities, westerns, advertising, sports, etc. for 100 big pages. Doesn't really tell you much. So who knows what's really in there, But just picking on society, I guess.
Well, I was a big fan of Mad magazines, so
Yeah,
be up my alley.
yeah. Creepy comics. That's looks sort of like more like a barbarian comic, but
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
Captain Valiant. I don't know if you remember him.
vaguely.
Okay. Um, Charlie Chaplin, Cosmic Caper from 1916 by LZ Cigar. Being Aquas, Bronze Age reprints for horrors again. More Snuffy Smith. Hemlock, I couldn't get into. This is a like I'm trying to think of it. Academic observations of the British Transformer comic from 87 to 89. He's
Okay.
basically giving an academic overview of it, so to speak, which is kind of cool, actually, because you kind of want to see what those are. Let's see what classic cosmic high fantasy. Um, I don't know who did the cover on this, but um, it looks interesting.
It does very much so. It's Camelot, dragons, wizards.
Yeah, I mean, if
So
you yeah, uh, for $9.99 for 100 pages, that can't. I mean, yeah, it might be okay. It might be bad. You just don't know because they don't tell you enough about who the artists are on that. That's one of
right.
that's one of the things I kind of wish they would do more description of here on Lulu. That's why I don't buy them as much as I do some other platforms because I don't always know who the artists are. Let's see. There you go, exotic erotica. That definitely looks like your type of Mad Magazine type.
Yeah, we'll send that to Dave.
Uh-huh. Yeah, he probably it wasn't erotic enough for him. But here's another one, spicy, spicy adventure stories. Um, but there's a lot of interesting things on this site that here's a King Comics, a centennial celebration of Jack Kirby. It reprints a lot of Jack's uh, freedom stuff, so to speak. Talks about that. That's a $35 book. Um, it's kind of like what back issue does, only back issue probably does it better.
Right. Right.
And so I would probably say go get the back issue stuff for the Jack Kirby collector, but it's along that same line. The classic Lady Luck from Mini Comics reprinting the original stories from there. Um, Atomic Space Action Comics by Luke Cameron. Um, just a lot of really.
Oh, Jesus and Mo. I remember reading that stuff.
You do.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Those were hilarious.
All right. Um, I keep thinking that I know who Lord Dragon Master is, but then I look at the book and no, it can't be that person. Because if it's who I think it is, it's someone who lives here in Colombia. But and then I look at the interior, and it's just like the cover looks like his art, but the interior doesn't look like anything like his work. So
Right.
it's like I don't know, but anyway. Um, Knitting with coal smoke.
Interesting.
Yeah. Um, Waspy Square. Okay. Transition. I'm trying to find TARDIS Tales Treasury. Of course, this is a
Doctor Who.
parody type thing. If you've ever seen the Big Top
I
comic,
have not. I
Carol,
have not.
Those are cool. Here's another one of the talk about the British Transformers comics from Stuart Webb from 84 to 87. The Colin Upton's collected diabetes funnies. Have you ever read this?
I have not.
You've got to get this for yourself here. This began as an 8-page mini comics from Colin Upton shortly after he was diagnosed with diabetes in 2008. In these comics, he comes to terms with his condition by changing his life fundamentally, losing 85 pounds, going on and off medical drugs while dealing with his anger, despair, and issues of body image. Before, the artist is a pissed off person. After, the artist, still pissed off, looks completely different. But it's funny because it's like there's all 13 mini comics in one single volume and an epilogue. So 125 pages for, I think it's like $9.95.
Not too shabby.
Yeah, and it might make you feel. I mean, as someone who deals with it, it's like having to read someone else's experience.
Mm-hmm.
It helps you kind of go through the stuff that you're going through too.
Right. Exactly.
So that's a cool one for those who have diabetes, like both of us.
The diabetes.
Yeah. But anyway, let's see what else we got. Your Kaiju Clash from the 50s. Paragon, Kovac. Some of these you might have seen it over at IndiePlanet.com as well, because they are over there. The Call of the Didgeridoo. Yeah. That teaches you how to play an instrument. Oh, man. 24/7, a decade of 24-hour comics by Alex Longstreth. Or Alec Longstreth, I should say. Have you ever looked at the 24-hour comics before?
No, I have not.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's one day a week, or one day a year, I should say, where you're meant to do a full comic in 24 hours.
Oh, okay.
And that's what this is like a decade worth of his 24-hour comics that he made. So that's a pretty cool idea. Put that together. I gotta look at this. Classic comics, Super Robots, Neutro, and the Fab Four. This is like some sort of weird like filmation or like the 70s cartoons or something.
Very much so, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know these characters. I guess these are like some of the British superheroes or something, or the Silver Age stuff before me. I don't know, but it looks interesting.
Yeah, definitely does.
There's 64 pages. For $7.99. It's black and white. Oof. I'm kind of interested, but I don't know, it looks kind of funky, art wise. But
yeah, you'd have to see what's inside.
Yeah, well, they don't show you. That's the thing. That's one of the reasons why I don't really buy as much from Lulu as I do from platforms. Because I don't get to see the interiors as much. But it's just to see some of these things really just makes you go,
They definitely have an odd collection of comics.
Yes, Toys in the Attic from Lucas Turnbloom. There's a Jen Ken Pond. Let me see if that. See, it's classical manga style English comic. It has robots, Ronin, and race cars. I'm like, okay, for 100 pages for $10, what the heck? And the cover looks cool,
Yeah, very much so.
So, I'm like, all right, I'll try it. The worst that can happen is I don't like it, right?
Right. Yeah. throw it on your stack of other comics that you don't like. And
Down Under Wonders from Australia. Australian superheroes. Like I said, a lot of weird reprints of the 60s, 70s are on this thing.
It's crazy, just the diversity of comics that exist.
Yeah. Another comic strip, Jeremy. I don't know if you guys remember Jeremy from Jonathan Morris. More Aussie comics. The Supermarket Vigilante with the bagger with his head on with the paper bag over his head. Boy and Girl Wonders, Robin in Cultural Context. That's a whole history of different versions of Robin or other characters that are like Robin.
It's interesting.
Yep. So I mean, there's just a lot. Here's one. Here's one of that Bronze Age hero. Let me look at that again. This has Captain Atom, Nightshade, Dragon Slayer, The Question, Wildman, Rubber Boy, Tiger Man, and the Eclipse. So it's kind of like the trying to think of the name, the Charleston Heroes.
Okay, yeah.
And a few others that weren't quite there, but 100 pages, black and white, $10. Why not? Because I know who drew those things back then. And it's like, yeah, I don't have those in my collection. Let me see what that is. I'll get something cool to read. Now this is hilarious. True North, by Kevin Frank. It's about a guy who married a Canadian woman and had to go fly to Canada and change his citizenship and stuff. And it's like the whole, it's so hilarious. I could have married a girl from Jamaica, from Mexico, or even California, but no, I'm up here shoveling snow over my head. And I know that you totally know what this is about because we both had to do this.
Oh, yes. Yep. And we're supposed to get dumped on again, so.
Yep. So it's like, yeah, there's that kind of fun stuff with that. So, but yeah, this is an interesting site. And again, this is lulu.com. Just look up lulu.com. And go to stores and look up comics and
go back up.
What I miss?
Scroll up.
What did I miss?
It was how to create comics and get rich doing it.
Oh, but
yeah. Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah. Well, if you want me to show you, it's there. It is. You've received your last rejection letter from Marvel and DC. If your dream is to be a rich and famous comic book self-publisher, then this book would be the best purchase of your life. This book is the missing link between artistic freedom and satisfaction of self-publishing your own comic book and living a wealthy, affluent lifestyle of complete financial independence.
I'm guessing this is parody.
Within this pages, you will learn how to create a fun story that you will love to work on forever. A simple and effective formula for penciling, inking, and lettering page after page after page. And the amazingly easy formula that thousands of millionaires have been using for years to build their first wealth. Make this book a permanent part of your cartooning studio, and you will never look at self-publishing the same way again.
That is funny.
And let me see if I can. And you see the doofus with the two girls on each arm.
Right.
And you can't read with the guy, the dorks behind him. The one with the sort of pseudo Green Lantern shirt on, pointing. It says, dude, Comic book artists are cool.
Yep, it's like sports cars, hot women, mansions. Comic book artists can draw them all.
All we can do is draw them. Oh Lord! But yeah, now here you go.
A hole.
You saw it.
Oh God.
Yeah, Zeke the Martian Geek. Duke's A. Duke
Deus Ex Comica.
Yes. The rebirth of the comic book fan. Just all kinds of cool stuff on this. There was the Detour number 11 that I brought. The theme of this issue is Undercover Fish Group Detours Anthologies that Fell from the Sky. Andy Fish, Veronica Hubbard, which I think is Veronica Fish, Sarah Jepson, Christopher Whitebread, Jim Riel, Derek Ring. These are names that most of you should know if you don't. But this is like a lot of their earlier works. So that's why I got them, was because these are people that are up and coming in the mid-card scene, I guess you could say.
Right.
So if you've read some of Archie or Andy and Veronica stuff for the Archie comics, they've done stuff for some of those EC comics that we were doing from reviews on from Oni, stuff like that. Jim Royale, I'm trying to think. Yeah. Trying to think here. I know I spelled it right, so I don't know. Jim Royale is more of a political cartoonist, but he's quite something else. Okay, let's put it that way. But anyway, yeah, just a lot of cool things going on here with that. I just kind of I passed on this one, but I was thinking about getting it. Just a little bit too expensive for me right now. Maybe down the road. There you go. That's what you need. the coloring comic book.
That's funny.
Stupid comics. I love the logo design on that. Let me see if you can you see that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, I love the logo. The cover itself, not so much, but you get Floor Flush Gordon, Pancho Villa, Dragonella, the something from another world, not the man thing, the something. Captain Marvel flies again. Marvin Payne, Private Eye. There's a cute little, parody things if you like those kind of comics, which Chris does. So, yeah, I thought you might like that one. But anyway, yeah, there's just a lot of really interesting things to look at. And like I said, I got 13 different books. I had to stop myself at some point. Literally, I could buy a full comic shop full of stuff, in this place.
You already own a full comic shop full of stuff.
I mean, all new stuff that I don't have.
Right? Yeah.
But anyway, so there you go. There's a lot of stuff out there for you guys from Lulu.com. I'll go ahead and My cat is in my way again.
Of course.
Does not want me too tight. There it is, Lulu.com. Now, we have things to share. Yes, we do. I have to share them with everybody. Oh, well, I want to be shared. I'm here. Now, you were talking while I was using the facilities about David's spinner rack, right?
Yes.
Okay, let me see if I can find that real quick.
Which is not doing well.
Yeah, that's the one of Fun Night, right?
Yeah.
Hold on a minute. I gotta log in. All right. And there it is. Yeah, it is not doing well. We got 24 days to go. And for whatever reason, there's no backers. I don't understand. It's been there a week. What's going
Yeah,
on?
he revised the price, lowered the price a little bit.
Yeah. You can get your t-shirt. Okay, fine. I'm not working the t-shirt. It's $399 early bird special for the black rack. For a white rack, you can get the white one. These are normally $599, and he's reduced it $200. And you guys might think, well, that's a lot of money. I don't know if I can afford that. If you've ever wanted one of these type of spinner racks that you see in the store, you get them standardized. They're normally between $800 and $1,200 a rack.
Yes.
You're getting one, and you're getting one for $400 that, frankly, is better constructed, easier breakdown and setup, and you can get a bag with it, so that you can carry it with you to conventions or to do, different things you got to do.
Right.
And the only reason I haven't gotten this yet is mostly because I need to wait until I get my money from my tax guy, who I have to get the rest of my commission money from him. But then I'll probably buy one of these so I can start putting on my books behind me in the spinner rack.
Which would look very, very cool.
Yes. But we'll see. I submit if I want to do it in black, or which would you prefer, the black or the white?
My tastes go towards the black, but
Yeah. Okay. And there's the bag, and it rolls on one side there, so you can put it behind you. It's light enough that you can carry it like a astronaut's backpack and still walk around. And the person who's carrying this, I think, is Dave's brother-in-law.
it could be PG, yeah.
And he's not a very big person, as you can see. So if he can carry it, you should be having no problem.
Yeah. It's meant to be extremely portable.
Yes. And of course, you get a spinner rack tag to put your personal information on. You can make different signs to put on Hey Kids Comics or Wrestling Comics Club Mall, or do whatever you want. Make your own. You can even put your own logo in there.
Yep, absolutely.
Of course, you get these T-shirts if you want. Models not included. Uh, and this is him showing that yes, he uses it himself.
Though if you paid Dave enough, he would probably come to your house.
Yeah,
No, models not included, but I bet you if you paid Dave enough, he would come to your house.
but so lots of cool stuff. And there's also just custom spinner backs and other things going on. And why would I need 10 of them? Well, you have to understand these 10 are for retailers. They're also for businesses that because the when Dave thought of this was a few months before the Alliance disaster came about.
Right.
For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, Alliance is a distributor group that was looking into buying Diamond when they were on the market for bankruptcy. And we never got in touch with Alliance's people directly enough, but the plan was for Dave and myself and a few others to sit down with Alliance's board of directors once they acquired Diamond, and sit down with Diamond's people and restructure this and get it so that we could actually market to non-comic store outlets and get a lot of this stock that now is sitting in assets to be liquidated for the bankruptcy instead of being sold properly, so that the publishers get their money. That was part of what this was about. Well, it was trying to get that because that would have been allowing, chain stores like Five Below or Dollar Tree or Dollar General to have these racks. Well, if you're buying for 500 stores and you need 2 racks, that's 1,000 racks.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's gonna, he was trying to do that. This is what he's talking about for like mini stores or mini setup stores to get a rack for each of your stores. That's what that kind of thing was for. For those of us who, or those of you, I should say, who have multiple storefronts, and there are a few retailers that do. That's what we're trying to set up, or what he's trying to set up for you guys for that. And then your wheeled carrier bag is $60. And of course, you can get some additional things like the Jade Warriors retailers and different things as well. Skyclad.
If you're into stripper witches.
Yep. There's just a lot of really old school stuff. The kids book, the Thunder Swords, Treasury Side soft graphic novel, $5. I kind of wish he would do these separate. Some of these separate from the Spinner Rack campaign.
Oh, he has.
On Fun My Comic.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I suggested that he maybe should have started with a comic book instead of the spinner rack, but
yeah, well, it's hard to say with Fun My Comic because I don't know for sure, but they really should be checking this out and supporting this. And that is the link to that. And I know it seems a little bit expensive.
yeah. But again, when you consider one of these would normally cost you anywhere from $800 to $1,200, that's this is a really good deal.
Yeah, I would recommend it.
And if he does well enough on these full size spinner racks, they are going to they have designs and they're going to work on a tabletop half size
Right.
spinner rack, which that's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the other thing. Yeah. But I know, the guys want the models. How do I get the models? How do I get the models? Where does he find such attractive models?
Well, you go to the Philippines.
Yeah, that's about the truth. Or you go to Europe.
Yeah.
But anyway, I would, I think there was another one you mentioned. What was the other one? The Bonsai Girl.
Bonsai Girl Reborn.
Yeah, that's
that one's doing good. That one's doing really well. But
that's difference in platforms as well, because while I have nothing but respect for Luke Stone and everything he's trying to do from my comic, it's a one-man operation, effectively. There's a few other people that helps him, but it's a one-man operation. And it's not the same type of machine that a Kickstarter or an Indiegogo with hundreds of employees, always updating, always modifying these things, keeping marketing pressure up there as well. So, it's a lot different, and again, I don't criticize Luke because he's, just gotten started more or less.
Right.
Got to start somewhere, guys. So, all I can say is, you see something, whether it's David's or anything on funmycomic.com, back it if you can, because the more stuff that gets backed on this platform, the more revenue comes into the stream, the better he can build that brand and that system for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
And and people go, what have you bought off of from my comic? Well, I've bought Bronze Star Volume 2 from Mike Barron and Pat Broderick, and there's like 2 or 3 other things. But like the most recent thing I bought was the Bronze Star 2 stuff. But they don't have nearly as much as some of these other channels. But that's part of why we had Luke on the show a few weeks back to promote the platform. So
right.
Anyway, you wanted me to also share the Bonsai Girl, right?
I mean, if you want to, sure.
That's all set. That's all set. Okay. I need. Is that on Kickstarter?
Yes.
All right. No, I didn't say Hans. Yes, I said Bonsai.
Hanzai.
There we go. So, come on. It's spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning. All right. We got 16 days to go on that one. It's got 13,000 so far out of its 300 goal.
And it really is just a gorgeous book.
Mm-hmm. Hold on a second. John just texted me something. Okay. I just had to read it real quick. He's like, he's not going to be here all month on Fridays. So I guess you and I are going to have to figure out Fridays.
Okay.
After this weekend, he'll be there for this week, but not afterwards because of Christmas parties and traveling, stuff like that.
Yep, gotcha.
All right. But anyway, yeah, this is not working. Try that.
Hi, this is Jinky Coronado. Look up what's new for Bonzi Girl.
Bonsai girl, you rock my world.
All right. This was when she was in high school.
She was 20 years old.
Right. Of course, Jinky's been around for over 20 years as an artist. And yes, she was a model and lingerie and bikini model too. But, you know, we don't want to dismiss her skills as an illustrator.
No, she's one of the she was one of the premier good girl artists in the industry. So
A lot of people don't. I agree with you, but it's like half the people don't even know that Jinky's a woman. They really don't.
right.
And then when they find out it is, wow. But I mean, yeah, she's very underappreciated, I think, as an illustrator, even though she is one of the top. Because they're always looking at J. Scott Campbell and other people, that are
Right.
But anyway, story is based on a Filipino legend, a white lady. It haunts Ballet Drive, and as she reunites with her friends, they ride right into the trap and face the white lady. Oh, kitty. 48 pages full color. You get metal trading cards. Back when she was a more characters. And there's so many covers that you can own a comic shop with just Bonsai Girl covers.
It's kind of mind-boggling how many covers there are. Yes.
Yeah. There's just too many. Yeah. This is the campaign that will break your budget if you are a person who has to get all the covers. Oh my gosh. But it's there. So how much do they want? Well, a PDF is 7. The deluxe PDF is 13. That gives you all the cover gallery stuff. You can get a regular 1D ripped, and then 20 for a lot of the other covers. They even give you the blank sketch cover. Yeah, but yeah.
People love blank sketch covers.
Are you cold? Yeah. He's kind of shaking, so I think he's cold. So you guys can't see that. Here.
Aw, poor guy.
It's okay. It's okay. So, yeah. He gets a little bit like that sometimes. But yeah, there's all kinds of covers. Just too many to be believed. It's like, did you take every sketch that you ever drew and turned it into a cover here, Jakey?
Pretty much.
Oh my gosh. But anyway. Yeah, I mean, it's quite the thing. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in this thing. So. I'm trying to see if there's anything else besides covers.
Oh, there is.
Oh,
There's
yes.
the mouse pads.
I forgot the mouse pad, yeah, which you have to have. You just have to have, don't you, there, Chris?
Yes, I'm going to make David send me one.
Yes. I need a mouse pad so I can put my wrist right between her boobs. For those who don't know what you're looking at, the mouse pad where her chest is, it has the cushion for your wrist.
Mm-hmm. The rest
Right
of the case, it is very much 3D.
Yeah, and so it's like you know, it's like you have, this kind of cushion. Only it just looks like a, and it's gonna feel just like the real thing with that little silicone gel feel in there.
David showed me the prototype. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. You're gonna make your significant other jealous.
Nah, not at all.
Yeah,
I can rest my wrist between her boobs anytime I want.
Yeah. But anyway, but just different things. You get a buddy pillow. Of course, you can get new ones, but who doesn't want to sleep with Jinky? Anyway, yes. But anyway, everything's done. Should be released 180 days, or what was it? 180 days from survey. Release. The fulfillment period will close. So, all right. It'll take 180 days. That's 6 months to get everything. All right. Oh, okay. I say any backer who did not complete a survey within the 6 months of it being sent will lose claim to your rewards. Okay, gotcha. Okay. But that's fair enough, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
We don't want it to be like some of the guys who took 4 years to get me their stuff. But I did get it. I'm not going to say I didn't get it because I just did. So, all right. So there's that. Okay. Well, I also promised you some unboxings. And so let's do that. What have we got here? My cat wants to know what it is. Woo! We're getting covered up. Okay. This is called The Last of Braxton. I don't know if you guys remember when we talked about this. That's the black and white gimmick cover. There's the regular book cover. Looks kind of like a 70s type.
Yeah, this whole comic is very much a throwback.
And then you get some cool pinup prints. Here's the cover again without all the text. Trying to show it without getting too much reflection on here, you know. You don't get to see the. Now can you see the heads?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So there's that. There's sticker sets that look kind of weird, like bookmarks and stickers, and
Oh, they got the corner box, and
Yeah.
that's cool.
and then they have another thing that looks. I gotta open this. I mean, this looks weird. I'm not sure. Wow. Okay. Now, don't you stick. I don't want you to stick down the thing. Oh, wow. Okay. This is like the classic Marvel Universe type.
Like stat blocks and
Yeah.
back history. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
And then there's two more on the back here. Although I'm not particularly keen on the swipes, because these are very much swipes from specific Marvel Universe pages and poses.
But I very fondly remember going through those, Marvel stat blocks and histories and stuff, going, I told you the Hulk was stronger than the Thing.
But you know, there's a couple more characters up there putting in there. And then it becomes a giant poster. I just have to try and open it again to get to the next level of the poster. And that is
Very, very cool.
so yeah. Pretty cool stuff going on with that. That was one thing I got. I'm gonna put this one. And we'll review it, but not this week. I've got way too many books to review this week. Now I got a few art books, but I'm not going to show those right now, because I haven't had a chance. They're more for Christmas anyway. But I also got this bad boy, Dalgota Omnibus from Jan Sternad and Dennis Shistaki. Unfortunately, it did arrive a little bit damaged. I'm not gonna mess with Amazon too much over it, because I got it for extra cheap, number one. And number two, I've got all the original issues from the original printing back in the 80s. This was just bought for something that just, kind of have, so I didn't have to take them out of the originals out. So I had something cool to just read through and maybe review the story at a later time. Because this doesn't print the story in color, unfortunately. It is black and white. But, that's kind of what happens when you do print on demand. They really can't afford to do it in color. But, I mean, there's just some really cool stuff in there. I'll be looking forward to rereading this up and down the road, but it's kind of like a sort of a 80s manga, but not manga. It's just Dennis Fujitaki is sort of manga, but not really. You know what I mean?
Right. But you could knock somebody out with that book.
Yeah. Yes, this collects all 8 issues of the original series plus an additional material. So it's certainly worth it. Very, very pleased with it. And, we may have shown this last week. I don't know. I think I did. But I did get a signed edition of Daniel Brandt's Halloween Noir from Carlos as well.
Which just looks really freaking cool.
Yeah, so, and again, this is more of an art book type thing, but
You don't see coffee table art books very often anymore these days.
Yeah, I've got so many of them you wouldn't believe, but they're all like put away in a way. But I love this kind of stuff. Part of the reason I haven't put away in the bookcases, there's what I was trying to think of, is because if I had a coffee table even up here, guess who would be laying all over the books?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's the one thing I have to say. I'm not too thrilled about the cat for that. But anyway, so that's what we got for you this week. Now, Chris will not be here on Thursday because he is taking a break for however long it might until he feels recharged enough to come back someday, maybe.
In due reviews, yes.
But we'll have first off, we have to have some books that he actually can take the time to enjoy and read and actually do reviews instead of feeling like, oh, I gotta read this again. Yeah, there's that, and then there's just other things going on. So it'll be my other co-host, John Norris, and I on Thursday, and we'll have probably about 15 or 20 books to review. So just a bunch of stuff. Yeah.
Have we decided what we're watching for Friday?
Fantastic Four, First Family, or whatever it is.
That's right. Okay, Fantastic Four, absolutely.
And then that'll be John's last Friday for the year, because he's going to be tied up with Christmas after that.
Christmas festivities.
Yes. And you probably will be too, actually. I don't know.
We'll see.
But I thought maybe we would do, well, we'll talk about it after the show.
Okay.
But anyway, that's all for this week, or for the crowdfunding and industry talk for tonight. And again, hopefully we weren't on for too long. We were on for 2 hours, but we hope we covered enough material for you folks tonight. And we'll see you guys Thursday at 9 p.m. And let's see if it's going to let me do. No, of course not. Why would it let me do what I want to do? It never does, right? You silly monsters. We don't want to show. We don't want to show. Anyway, there we go. If you want to reach out to me on social media, contact me at lewis.brightraven on Facebook, at Twitter, or the Muskrat channel at lewisbrightraven2. If you're watching me on both Raven and Lewis Brightraven exclusively on YouTube, if you want to see more of my artwork, go to deviantart.com/brightraven. Or if you want to see some of Chris's coloring, better than this stuff, probably, even though he did color this. Go to Fatboy73 at deviantart.com. But anyway, Quoth Raven LBR 72 at gmail.com is the place to ask questions or make suggestions on what you'd like us to review or something like that. And if I'll get back to you, try lewisbrightraven at yahoo.com. And since Dave is out abroad, I assume that there will not be a Saturday show again.
No, not unless he's doing it from the cruise ship.
All right. So that means, Chris, if you want to reach out to him, it's ghthrowingstones at gmail.com. And maybe this Saturday we'll do a live draw. Just hang out and chat and talk about what we're going to do for season 6.
Yeah, sounds good.
But we'll see, because I got to get my commissions done for people, and it'll be interesting how Christmas shapes up. Anyway, thank you for watching, as always, and we'll see you next time. Quoth the Raven. Nevermore.
Nevermore.